My name is Matt Parker, and I'm the Director of Athletics for Rockford Public Schools, and I also serve as a board member for the Rockford Sports Coalition. I'm so thrilled to see such a turnout to honor our past athletes, coaches, and mentors, and also to support our future Rockford Public School athletes and programs. Many of us in this room have been deeply impacted by sports and understand what it can do in one's life and the wonderful friendships and habits that sports can create. I'd like to take a moment to thank a few people, businesses, and organizations who have contributed to put on a fantastic evening for you all tonight. Thank you to Lauren Wade, Event Planning. She's done an amazing job planning this event for us. Lux Productions, who will be DJing later. The wonderful Auburn Jazz Ensemble, who's been playing this evening. Event Floral, who did your centerpieces there on your tables. Pepsi of Rockford. Stern Family Dentistry. Our MC, who will be taking over here shortly, Steve Shannon. Our guest speaker, who's got a great speech for us tonight, Ben Holstrom. And the Jefferson High School film students, who will be filming this event tonight and will be shown on the Rockford Public School television station in a few short weeks. Lastly, I'd like to thank our main sponsor, the Rockford Sports Coalition, for all their hard work over the past 21 years in giving Rockford Public School athletes and sports programs the support they deserve. Since their formation in 1992, the Rockford Sports Coalition has reopened middle school pools that have been closed since the 1970s, arranged for doctors to be on call at high school football games, reinstated middle school football, and begun annual funding for the Rockford Public School athletic programs. To this date, the Rockford Sports Coalition has raised over $1 million for Rockford Public School athletic programs. This is an extraordinary accomplishment. And we are so grateful for everything they've done to aid our athletes. This support continues this evening as all proceeds from tonight's event will go back to RPS Athletics. I'd like to recognize one of the original founding members of the coalition, Mr. Ted Leibovich. Mr. Leibovich, would you please stand? Before we begin, let me share a few programming notes. In a moment, dinner service will begin, and we'll continue to enjoy the Auburn Jazz Ensemble for a few more moments. Then our friend Steve Shannon will MC the remaining program, which will include our guest speaker Ben Holstrom and the 6 Hall of Fame inductions, which will be in the order you see them on your table card, which are at your tables in front of you. So again, thank you, and enjoy the evening.
Are you ready for this induction ceremony? Before we get to these inductions, I'd like to introduce you to our guest speaker. He's a standout, was a standout athlete. It really said that here, too.
You did. Good job.
At Guilford High School. Ladies and gentlemen, as an all-state Guilford basketball player, he was a key component to the '93 basketball team that took second place at the state tournament and averaged 19.2 points, 8 rebounds, and 1.5 blocks a game. He received scholarship offers from schools including Northwestern, Colorado, Illinois State, Miami, and Iowa State. He chose to continue his basketball and academic career at Illinois State. At ISU, he was part of 2 consecutive Missouri Valley regular season championships, as well as 2 straight 2 straight Missouri Valley Conference Tournament championships, and back-to-back NCAA tournament teams. Now I want to hear your hands. No more delay. I would like to welcome Ben Holmstrom to the stage.
All these short people, I didn't know Steve was that short. Everyone thought he was tall. You know, everyone says you got a face for radio, but you're a pretty good looking guy.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I got to put my Guilford Vikings hat on for any Guilford Vikings fans here. Thanks to Augie for giving me this super small hat. Appreciate it. Before I get started, I'd like to recognize somebody. He's probably going to get upset with me, but I'm going to do it anyway. Harmon Mitchell, are you here somewhere? Where are you? Harmon Mitchell is the president of the board currently and is retiring in April. During his tenure on the board, he pushed to hire local superintendents, pushed for a more responsible budget, read to thousands of students, has been a vocal supporter of athletics in the district, and I've seen him recently at all the Reba games, which is amazing. So, Harmon, thank you for your service. Everybody, Harmon Mitchell. I'd also like to welcome all the athletes here getting inducted. I can't believe there was an omission, but I guess I'll wait a few more years. All the teams that are here and the individuals being inducted are truly a great representative of what this district really stands for with athletics, and just everybody give them a round of applause. It's great. Thank you. As Steve said, I'm a proud graduate of Guilford High School, class of 1994, which to some of you means I'm young, which to me, with my kids sitting here, means I'm old. When I got invited to this event, the guy that invited me, who I'm absolutely going to make fun of later in this speech, told me that it was first annual, no big deal, there'd probably be about 100 people here, don't worry about it. So I said, okay, no problem. And here we are with 400 people in a waiting list, which is a great sign of years to come. So thank you everyone for coming. I have to admit, when I was asked to do this, the first thing I thought was, how can I say no politely? And the second thing I thought was, how are all you people going to look up at some old bald guy that used to be an athlete and think, this is a great choice for a speaker tonight. So I appreciate you guys bearing with me. When I was asked to speak about my experience as a public school athlete, I actually said yes right away. The reason for that was this event gave me an opportunity to really think about all the impact that Guilford had on my life and all the great moments that I had when I was there. When I was at Guilford, I met my wonderful wife, I met great friends, I was prepared in the classroom for college, and I had the privilege of playing on one of the best basketball teams in the history of the city. Growing up on the mean streets of Rockford Country Club really didn't prepare me for life quite like Guilford did. I had the opportunity to meet and have deep relationships with people that were nothing like me, and I cherish that to this day. All of those experiences helped prepare me for my time playing basketball at Illinois State and my career today. To think that in 1992, when the district was considering, which maybe everybody didn't know, and it's an old secret, in cutting athletics, the thought of all these life-changing experiences that happened to me could have not happened without the Rockford Sports Coalition. Pretty scary. The Rockford Sports Coalition, started back in '92, has continued to do for so many years such important things for this community. Would I be standing here speaking to you today about how great my public education was and how great sports was for me? The answer is no without the Rockford Sports Coalition. I'd be standing up in front of a private school fundraiser talking about my experiences playing goalie on the soccer team. And my wife's gonna be mad because she was a really good soccer player. And all the people that actually went to private school that are here, your money is still good at the silent auction, and we really appreciate you being here. There are a lot of reasons why this mic is kind of jammed. Okay. There are many reasons why public education is so great. In Rockford, some people tend to point out why it's not. My question to all those people are, what are you going to do about it? Do we believe a strong public school system makes for a strong, vibrant community? The answer should be yes. Do we believe we must prepare our students for college and careers? The answer is absolutely yes. Do we believe the Rockford Public Schools athletic programs are somehow subpar? I bet if you ask Roy Sackmaster or Dana Pino that question, they'd probably tell you no way. I say these things because if the organizers of the Sports Coalition and the parents of the fine student athletes ever wavered in their support of public schools, thousands of kids would have lost the opportunity to play for their school at an affordable price. It also would have robbed countless athletes the opportunity to learn discipline, integrity, values, character, and teamwork. All very critical skills used by business leaders all over the world today. Athletics helps prepare students for what they're going to face in the real world more than any activity. Learning to work with others, learning how to overcome adversity, and learning to lead others are all things I learned in athletics and I use today. When I sit in on interviews for prospective new employees, I typically ask two questions. Did you play sports in high school or college, and did you win? These questions seem very basic, but sports demands learning to work with others, and all winning teams must fight through adversity. A few months ago, I had the privilege of attending a Guilford High School Hall of Fame ceremony at Guilford, or at Giovanni's. At this ceremony, our basketball team was inducted. It was the first time I had seen most of my teammates in 20 years. Although being inducted as an individual the previous year was an honor, standing up there with my team was an absolute thrill. The feeling that came over me, one of great pride in my teammates and what they had become. They had become business leaders, basketball coaches, line managers, salesmen, and most importantly, great fathers. Imagine that all these fine athletes being inducted that night, and the thousands more that have come since then, have become such wonderful parts of this community with a public education. Imagine that. Backed up by organizations like the Rockford Sports Coalition, these athletes have been prepared for life. Put simply, the Rockford Public Schools should be a source of great pride in our community. Look around this room and see all the success stories sitting here. It's what's right about public education, and it's what's great about this community. The Rockford School District and this community are currently putting considerable resources behind hiring the best coaches and having the best facilities. The 2012-13 season had many great highlights, but one that stands out to me is the Auburn football team. This program has been an example of a struggling program for decades. And this year was an example of what strong leadership can do for a program. I'd like to congratulate Coach Apino and his staff on an amazing job setting new directions for Auburn. Coach Apino, please stand up. Auburn is one of many great successful stories for RPS 205 this year. One of the greatest stories for this community is how members of the board, the administration led by Dr. Willis, Matt Vosberg, Dr. Jarrett, and this community helped pass a facility improvement plan that will pave way for our schools and athletic facilities to be transformed into 21st century learning environments. These environments include upgrades to our athletic facilities. There are many of us in this room that would have never imagined that this district would spend this much money on our students, so it's an amazing thing. Imagine classrooms without leaks, cracks, and power outages. Imagine athletic facilities that attract new students to the district. Imagine teachers that are trained in 21st century learning and have tools to provide it through new classrooms. Imagine every student who graduates having the opportunity to go to college. This program and the current work administration is doing is a big deal to this city. There are so many people involved in seeing these issues through, but there are two people that really take the lead on how athletics transfer to students in the district. Those two people are Matt Vosberg and Aaron Jarrett. So this is the point in the speech where I get a little payback. We typically see Matt and Aaron in suits and ties. They look pretty. Look how nice they look. Huh? Young men, young leaders, right there. I thought it'd be better for us to see these two in an athletic environment. You know, something from their past. I'd like you to notice in this photo the super tight shorts and the long white socks and the kind of soft stomach. I'm sure Aaron doesn't look like that today at all. The next guy, Matt Vosberg, I really can't say anything. I can't believe that someone would show a picture of a guy in a Speedo. But I asked if Matt played basketball, baseball, any of those really manly sports, and I heard he was a great swimmer. But I would like to point out, in contrast to Aaron's picture, he's got some abs that are pretty good. Sorry, bud, I mean, I had to. Matt and Aaron truly understand how athletics can teach our kids things that they cannot learn in the classroom. Pictures aside, these guys are doing a phenomenal job. Can you take that picture off there? Okay, Paul is going to do some adjusting here. I thought it'd be cool to show everybody a little bit of a conceptual look at what's being considered for the new athletic field houses. There's 3 field houses, one at Auburn, one at Guilford, and one at East. A major addition to the Jefferson facility, their sports facility as it is today. I'm sorry for the people in the back that can't see that great, but this model, you're gonna have to zoom it back out, Todd, so it looks clear.
Looks clear.
Does it? Okay, here we go. So the field house itself, most of the field houses will have 3 or 4 basketball facilities included inside, athletic competition and practice courts, extracurricular activity areas. Auburn will have a 200-meter competition track, 4 full-size basketball courts and volleyball courts. So there's some major upgrades going to occur with these facilities. Also, it'd be great to see the day when commencement ceremonies are held at the individual schools. Aaron, you have to work on that. This shows an athletic locker room, trainer's room, coaches' offices. these are all things that we're trying to include in these field houses, and we'll do our best to make sure they happen in one way or another. This is a model of Auburn. A lot of these have health clinics that service the students and also the community. There's some really neat things that are being done all over the country with this. These are all, just all ideas that, are being gone through by the district today to figure out what's best for each facility. The lobby and connections are really interesting. It fits this ceremony really well. The Hall of Fames will be located along there. This is a good look. That photo is actually something that is probably going to happen in these facilities. So it's a great look at the Hall of Fame and what those facilities do. Strength and conditioning, multi-purpose rooms for cheerleading, for practices, weight rooms. Those are all things that are being looked at each individual field house and facility. Academics and classrooms at Auburn are extremely important with classrooms. These 21st century classrooms are really amazing. The technology that's in them, the science labs, the computer labs. So those are also part of some of the physical education centers. These cafeterias really become meeting places and they become classrooms. They're not just the typical cafeterias anymore. They're used for a lot of different purposes. So this gives you an idea of the things we're talking about and the things that are going to happen in the community, and it's really amazing to see. So. Again, these are things the district's doing, the community's doing to ensure that everybody keeps the momentum going in the public schools. Again, I would like to congratulate all the teams for being here and individuals that are being inducted. You are all great representatives about what Rockford Public Schools are all about. I'd like to thank everyone for coming. This event, like I said earlier, was supposed to be 100 people and it's 400, and I hear there was a waiting list. So I'm pretty sure it'll keep getting better and better every year, and the stories and teams and individuals that are getting inducted will be even more exciting each and every year. Maybe the district will do a better job picking a speaker next time, but I appreciate everybody for allowing me to speak to you about my experience and the things going on in Rockford. I'm really proud to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow. You weren't playing, man. Up there.
But part out of my bottom lip would be great. Like this.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to get some of these inductions going on? We've got some very important people to put into the hall tonight. And I would like to introduce our first pairing. Emily Tropp, who is a sports reporter for the Rockford Register-Star, and Dr. Terry Giardini to present the RPS Hall of Fame Athletic Community Service Award.
I need that.
Good evening. It was a real privilege for Terry and I to be the co-chairman of the first Hall of Fame Selection Committee. There was about 10 of us that met last November to go through all these deserving names and teams. And as you can imagine, to try to pick the best of the best from all these decades of sports was a really large challenge. But there was one category that we spent very little time on, and that was the community service category. And that's because it was unanimous with all of us that one woman clearly was most deserving of this first award, and that is Janelle Samuelson. Coach Sam truly dedicated her life to Rockford Public School athletics. She was a teacher and coach for years with the district, but we all know she put in countless hours of her own time for the benefit of the kids and the programs. She obviously was one of our area's biggest pioneer of women's athletics through the years, but among her other many accomplishments, she helped spearhead the revival of middle school sports in District 205, and also helped launch the Rockford Elementary Basketball Association, the Reba League, which is so successful today. Two things that always stood out to me about Janelle was her just intense passion for what she did. You could tell that she just loved the kids and she was relentless in trying to make improvements with all the programs. And the second thing was how she never wanted to take any credit. I can tell you for years, Matt Trowbridge and I tried to convince her to sit down with us for an interview so we could get a feature story of this remarkable woman in the newspaper, and she always politely declined. It just was never about her. And I know for so many of you here tonight who knew and loved her so well, it's a bittersweet moment because we are exactly 6 months too late on being able to present this award to her in person. Coach Sam passed away on August 23rd of last year after a battle with cancer, but we know she is with us in spirit, just as we know her name will forever be synonymous with District 205 athletics.
I have the honor of being able to talk to you a little bit about Janelle Samuelson. What I could talk about would take volumes and volumes to describe a woman who cared more about kids and did not see color in anybody. What she saw was athletic ability, no matter how uncoordinated, how awkward you were, and quite frankly, when she looked at me, how stupid you were. But one thing I remember the first time I met her, I was 14 years old. Somebody comes up for me in the hallways of these times, puts a headlock on me and says, in that little sweet voice, "So you're a Giardini, huh?" I look up and I thought, who is this kid? If you all know, Janelle Samuelson always looked youthful. She had a youthful personality, very affable personality, and everybody liked her. But Janelle Samuelson stood for something that a lot of us may not understand. She was a devout woman with her faith and belief in children. She did not give up on anybody, ever. Ever did she say, you can't do that, you're not good enough. When Janelle was being honored by our school district back in August, I put on one of the, I like to say, a social network site, put out there that she was going to be honored, and those who could, come down here in a couple of days and see it and maybe say something would be wonderful. Did that one night. Next morning I woke up, there were 32 people who said, God, I'd love to be there. They were people from California, Arizona, New Mexico, Rhode Island, South Dakota, Minnesota, wanting to be there. And they said, would you please tell her I really appreciate all that she did for me? Okay, I'll do what I can. So when a lot of us had a chance, all had our time to say what we wanted to about Janelle Samuelson. What was rather interesting is that, unfortunately, she passed away, a few weeks later. I put on this social network site again that she had passed, and the next day I woke up and there were 92 comments. 92 comments of people writing heartfelt letters. I mean, not just, gosh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Oh, God rest her soul. R.I.P. Miss Sam. None of that. They were letters. Heartfelt letters saying, you know what? I played softball. I couldn't play softball no matter what. But she told me I could. So I went out for softball. She goes, I remember here it was gym class. She said, let's see how good you can do this. Go out there in center field. Here's a glove. Just catch the ball. She said the ball gets hit. I'm out there and I shaded my eyes from the sun with this glove. And somebody else yells, I got it, I got it. Next thing you know, the ball hit me in the nose. She said, I broke my nose. I'm laying on the ground, bleeding, crying. All my classmates are going, oh no. But then a calming voice came in and said, you're going to be okay, you're fine, you're going to be all right, don't worry about it. And it was Miss Samuelson. She said to me, you're going to be fine, and you're still going to be able to play softball. And I thought, yeah, right. She said, but you know what? I was home for about 3 days with a broken nose, and she called me every day. She wanted to make sure I was okay. She talked to my mom. How's she doing? Well, fine. You know what? She, in this letter, it finally states, I still played softball. I was terrible, but Miss Samuelson believed I could. That was just so many stories of the same thing. She was my leader. She was my mentor. She was my savior. Then there was another one, and I'll tell you, I don't want to go too long because I'm getting this. Another one was that she's a young girl who was a track runner. And Miss Samuelson started the first track team at East High School, first girls track team. The girl said, I was in trouble. I was always in trouble. My dad came to Miss Samuelson and said, what can you do for my daughter? And Miss Samuelson says, well, I know she can run fast. So they got me on the track team. She said, that saved my life. I ran my first track meet, and who's at the finish line applauding me? Miss Samuelson and my dad. When she passed away in August, my dad and I went to the funeral. She goes, my dad is aged now, but he was sat there and he cried. He said, that woman saved your life. Don't you ever forget what Miss Samuelson did for you. And that's exactly all the responses I got. Don't ever forget what she did for East High, what she did for the community, what she did for kids. Miss Samuelson did not forget about anybody. She was at every event. Does anybody here who went to East High not remember her being at a football game, basketball game, wrestling meet, baseball? She was there. And any of you didn't know her, she always applauded you. You lost, and what did she do? She'd pat you on the back. Don't worry, you'll get it next time. We need more Janelle Samuelsons. She may have been short in stature, she was small, but we'll never be able to fill her shoes. So, Janelle Samuelson, Service Award. She's the first one inducted, and she deserves it. And the two people here tonight, her good friend, Gailey Clay, and her cousin, Lucy Thomas, please come forward and accept the award.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I don't know what else to say, but thank you. She was my hero too. Just my cousin, but she was my hero too.
We can't add anything more. She was everything that has been said and more, and loved children, kids in the community. Thank you so much for honoring her.
That was more emotional than I was expecting. Sounds like she was a very special woman. I feel very most unfortunate I never got a chance to know her. We're going to continue, ladies and gentlemen. I want to introduce you now to someone who's going to bring us the RPS Hall of Fame Coach Award. He was an all-state football player in '92, Illinois State University football in 1995. He is the West Middle School principal. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Maceo Rainey.
Good evening, everybody. One more time. Good evening, everybody. All right. Our society and popular culture has always championed athletic coaches who possess the uncanny ability to bring out the best in all of us. Long before Phil Jackson was known as the Zen Master, long before Iron Mike was known, Mike Dickey was known as Iron Mike, long before Coach Mike Krzyzewski was known as Coach K, there was Rockford's own Doug Hope. And that coach is Alex Sadargis. It is with great honor, respect, and humility that I accept this opportunity to present the RPS Hall of Fame Coach Award. This year's recipient is an example of dedication, commitment, and class. In fact, his trademark bow tie set a new standard of class among the coaching ranks. Henceforth, in honor of the coach, I wear this bow tie with dedication, honor, and class, just as Coach Sadargis modeled for the world to see. Coach Alex Sadargis led West High School to state championships in 1955 and 1956 and compiled a career record of 435 wins, 198 losses. West advanced to the state tournament 5 times under Coach Sadargis in 1949, 1955, 1956, 1967, and 1973. In addition to its 2 state titles, West won the state championship in 1955 and 1956. They finished 4th at state in 1973. Coach Sadargis died in 1998 at the age of 82. I am honored to induct the legendary Coach Alex Sadargis into the RPS Athletic Hall of Fame. Here to accept the award is Alice Sadargis, the wife of the late Coach Alex Sadargis.
I just want to say that my husband would be most honored. This was the town that he loved with all of his heart. He had many opportunities to go elsewhere and coach. Colorado State University was one of them, and I knew I could name a whole bunch that wanted him as their coach. But he would never, never leave Rockford. This was his home. And he loved the town and he loved the kids. And he just did his very best to help each and every student that came his way. He loved them all. And I accept this with great pleasure and his honor. I know wherever he is, he's probably looking down and saying thank you. And I thank you. Beautiful. I shall treasure it.
All the love and emotion here, it's starting to feel like a Nicholas Sparks movie. I love the way this feels, though. You love the way this night feels. I mean, these are special memories that we're all enjoying again tonight. To present the Hall of Fame Individual Athlete Award, I'd like to introduce you to RPS School Board President, Mr. Harmon Mitchell.
This is really funny tonight when I was asked to participate in the induction of all these wonderful athletes. I had a personal attachment to the athlete I'm going to introduce you to tonight, for those of you who don't know him. And again, it is special to be an inductee on the first night of what I hope to be a long succession of annual get-togethers for us Rockford folks who just love sports, no matter how minimal or how maximum they are. I mean, as Ben said, you know, it's so important to have successful athletic programs in our elementary schools, feeding into our middle schools, feeding into our high schools, because it does attract. I mean, I'm an old East High graduate, and what a pleasure it is to go into East High on a Friday night in basketball season and see a packed gymnasium. And you guys know what I'm talking about. I mean, it's wonderful. When we were in high school, we played before packed gymnasiums, but it kind of went away after the 70s. In the 80s and 90s, people drifted away. And sometimes you get the parents there to see their kids playing basketball, or go to the football stadiums and see a lot of concrete, but not too many folks watching the football games. But what a change, huh? Look at our football stadiums. Really something. And look at what we're doing on the basketball floors and the other sports. Really, all up and down the scope. Just a wonderful job. I'd like to just take a second and ask Dr. Jarrett to stand up. Dr. Jarrett will be your superintendent next year. And really, Dr. Jarrett will bring the consistency and stability that we're used to here over the last couple of years to next year and the years beyond. Thanks much for stepping up, and really, it's going to be an exciting time. It's been exciting now. I just got through taking 2 weeks to read to every fifth grader in the system. 2,200 fifth graders. Honestly, I did it last year. It was so much fun. I had to do it again. It's really something to be able to talk to these kids and tell them how competitive it's going to be next year in middle school. They think it's been competitive now, pre-K, K, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not competitive at all compared to what they're going to bump into next year as sixth graders in a middle school level. We're going to have 2,200 sixth graders going to middle school next year. I mean, think about that. You talk about competitiveness, and I don't care whether these kids are doing it scholastically. I don't care whether they're doing it in intramurals, or whether they're choosing, and by the way, that's what they're doing right now in February. They're choosing what they're going to be doing next year in sixth grade at the middle school level, no matter what middle school they go. We have 7 excellent middle schools in this school system. And these kids are going to be going up there and choosing band, orchestra, choral, drama, dance, cheerleading, any of the extracurricular sports activities that they haven't had an opportunity to get involved in. Yes, we have a REBA program, the Rockford Elementary Basketball Association. We have a REBA program that's outstanding. 32 teams this year played. Are you hearing me okay? Played basketball. I was over at East High today looking at the semifinal games, and I'm going to tell you, Ben Holmstrom's son can put the ball in the hole. He's right here. I didn't even see it. You know why? Because I'm here. I'm looking over the podium, and I couldn't see you sitting there. Great hat, great touch, nice going, and you got whacked around pretty good out there. But I mean, you are as every bit of good a deadeye as Rod Kaufman, I will tell you. This guy can hit. He's something. Anyway, it's very exciting, and it's a very exciting time for the Rockford Public School System, and I'm sure glad I was to be part of it. I've got 4 more board meetings as the president of the board, and when I come home from a board meeting, my wife goes, 4 more meetings. After next Tuesday, she'll say, 3 more meetings. And that's all good. I can hardly wait. Tonight, however, we're going to move into recognizing the first male inductee for the Hall of Fame Individual Athlete Award. And the reason it makes it special for me personally is, like all alumni, you know what they say, you know, once an E-Rab, always an E-Rab. Did they say that about Vikings? I've always been an E-Rab follower, and I really enjoyed following the teams that East High put on the field in football back in the 70s. Wow. Bob Pellant was an unbelievable coach, and he put those teams through awful tough. He really was a coach, and this inductee tonight was one of the very best and one of the cream of the crop. I personally got involved because I followed Jerry when he went from East High down to Northern and then went down to the Cardinals. Remember, he played for the St. Louis Cardinals. One time we flew down and I took my oldest son down with me, and for some reason, I had a resemblance to Jim Hart, the quarterback for the Cardinals at the time, and the Jerry was running in the backfield. And we went out to eat after the Cardinal game. They played the Dallas Cowboys that day. And they were victorious over the Dallas Cowboys, and we went out to eat, went down on the riverboat in St. Louis, and Jerry joined us at dinner, and people would come up to me and say, what a great game I had that day. And so I would introduce him to the up-and-coming running back for the Cardinals, Jerry Latin. And Jerry got such a kick out of it. He was sitting back there and he'd go, geez, I can't believe this guy is Jim Hart. And he's introducing me to these fans. One guy came up to me, he said, Jim, what a great game today. Remember last year? I'm president of the Chamber of Commerce out in Jeff City. That's the capital of Missouri. He says, you came out to Jeff City and sat there that night and I sat next to you for 2 hours and you told me so many great jokes. Do you remember the punchline from, and he's trying to get me to give him a punchline from, I had no idea what he was talking about. But it was a great night. I really enjoyed it with Jerry. And it's my pleasure to welcome Jerry Latin to come up here on the stage. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Jerry. Jerry was a football and basketball star at East High in the late 60s and early 70s. And Jerry rushed 190 times for 1,325 yards for the 1970 Conference Championship team. He went on to play football in Northern, as we know, and 4 years in the NFL. That's about the length of a running back these days in the NFL, isn't it? I mean, damn.
That's right, about 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, 4 or 5 years is it when you're a running back. And Jerry played for the Cardinals. I'm honored tonight to induct Jerry Latin into the Rockford Public Schools Athletic Hall of Fame, and here to accept the award is Jerry Latin. First of all, I'm going to give him a picture that was taken on that riverboat that Sunday evening after the game against the Cowboys. And the picture is of Jerry Latin and Jim Hart, Harmon, Jim Hart Mitchell, and his son Matt. So you can keep that, Jerry. I got a couple copies of the picture, and Jerry was kind enough to autograph them for me. But here is the plaque that you're going to be able to have, Jerry. And who is that guy?
I don't know.
Well, we all remember number 40 for East High and the years that he played for East High, the conference championship team, the first male inductee, Jerry Latin.
I'd like to thank you. This is an exciting moment for myself, you know, being a Rockford native. I like to say that I did run track also, because I have to say that because this is kind of like a homecoming event that you never went away from, because I have a few coaches that I kind of cherish, you know, when I was at East High School. And I'd like to introduce one. This is Brad Fowler, sitting over here at the table here. And Coach Tropp, he's sitting back in the back. And Gary Gardini, he's sitting back in the back. And a special guy right here, Dan Salvey, who was my track coach. He's having his 90th birthday tomorrow. So those are the guys that had a lot of influence on my life when I was at East High School. And you had mentioned Bob Pellin. Bob Pellin was a super coach. And I cherished the moments that we had playing for those guys. And this, like I said, this is a special moment for me, and I thank you very much.
You're more than welcome. You still hitting him down the middle? I know your dad could, boy, he could really hit the ball. Thanks, Steve.
Next, our next inductee will be the Hall of Fame Individual Athlete Award as well. To introduce this person into the Hall of Fame, Janice Hawkins, Guilford High School principal.
It's been an amazing evening so far. Let's give it up for Matt Parker and the Rockford Sports Coalition. You guys are awesome. My job tonight is to introduce the Individual Athlete Award. It just so happens that this person is a Guilford graduate, and I'm extremely honored tonight to serve as the principal of Guilford High School and to also induct this young lady into the Hall of Fame. Although I never met her, because you will find out at the end of the introduction what happened, the reason I never had an opportunity to meet her. But I had an opportunity to speak with her father tonight, and the things that you will hear about her in the accomplishments that I will read out to you is nothing in comparison to the character and the type of person that she represented. So, with that being said, I will introduce to you Lisa Cool. She was a 1993 Guilford graduate. She won 5 state championships, and those championships covered both swimming and track. She was ranked #1 in the nation as a senior in the 100-yard butterfly. This Nick 9 Female Athlete of the Year swam for the University of Georgia, where she was a 26-time All-American and the 1996 NCAA champion in the 100-yard butterfly. While at Georgia, she was the 5th person inducted into UGA's Circle of Honor, which is their Hall of Fame. She was a NCAA top 8 student athlete, and most amazingly, she was the 1997 NCAA Woman of the Year. Lisa was also on the U.S. national team and swam in 2 Olympic trials, finishing 11th in 1992 and 6th in 1996. Although Lisa was an outstanding swimmer and runner, she was the most respected as a student and for her community service and caring attention that she gave people with whom she came in contact. Lisa passed in an automobile accident in 1998. She was 23 years old. When I spoke with her dad tonight, the Lisa Cool that he told me about was the type of person who spent countless hours at homeless shelters helping others. That was the part of her life that she was most proud of. that she cared most about. The athletic accomplishment was something that just came along for the ride. So while we induct her into the Athletic Hall of Fame, let us not forget the type of person and the quality of character that this young lady represented. I am so doubly proud to induct her into this Hall of Fame tonight. And on her behalf, here to accept the award for Lisa Cool is her father, Bill, and her sister, Michelle. Please come to the stage.
Wow, Janice, that was the way to get it done, to bring your iPad and write the words on the iPad. I'm just working off of a sheet of paper here, so. District 205 administrators, teachers, coaches, officials, judges, and referees, former athletes, and current student athletes, thank you so much for this incredible honor and for remembering Lisa's athletic accomplishments while she was a Guilford Viking. I'm accepting this award tonight on behalf of the entire Cool family. My mom, Nancy, was not able to be here tonight. Lisa would have been so pleased for this induction. She would have been humbled to receive such a great honor. For all her success and the many awards that Lisa had the pleasure to receive in her lifetime, Lisa was at her core a very humble person. During her first year of vet school, Lisa's classmates were shocked when they found out that they were sharing lab time with the reigning NCAA Woman of the Year. But that was Lisa, happy for her successes and humbled by the recognition. I was thinking about what I should say about Lisa and about what she would want me to say on her behalf tonight. Lisa would thank all those who shaped the person that she became. Not just the athlete, but the student, the friend, and most importantly, the complete person. She would thank all of those who coached and mentored her along the way, especially her District 205 coaches, Jean Cassiope, Don May, and Heidi Turner, and one of her personal coaches, Stacy Wells, who is here tonight. Lisa would also thank her teammates, for there is no I in team. No one gets anywhere without the support and effort of good teammates around you. Lisa also would have reminded us each of our personal responsibility, our responsibility to develop ourselves to our maximum potential as people, and then to give that back to our community. Lisa believed that every person had a light that needed to shine. She believed that each person was blessed with God-given gifts and talents, and that it was up to them to apply the hard work, dedication, and perseverance required in order to bring those gifts to fruition. She would remind younger athletes to set goals, work hard, and reach for their dreams. But most of all, Lisa would want us to share and multiply our gifts. She would want those who are at the top to turn around, reach back, and pull others up to the top with them. It was her belief that in giving back to the community, this belief is what really set Lisa apart as an athlete, a scholar, and a person. Thank you so much, District 205, for giving Lisa this prestigious honor.
Someone who also got a round of applause earlier this evening, and I think we know why, is here to bring our next induction moment. Ladies and gentlemen, Chairman of the Rockford Sports Coalition, Mr. Ted Leibovich.
Thank you, Steve. This is what we have been fighting for on the Rockford Sports Coalition for the past 22 years. Let me tell you, this is music to my heart. This is wonderful. The Rockford Sports Program has seen its tougher days. It started with the cancellation of the Rockford Sports back in the late 70s. That tore the heart out of the athletic and spirit of the Rockford Public High Schools, and it's been a long journey back, but I think we're here. And this award is a particular honor for me to present because I was a 1968 Rockford East High School graduate. In 1974, talk about greatness, the ERABs won the Class 4A state football title with an undefeated record, and at least 4 members went on to play in the NFL. Several more played in Division I college football. Many argued, I don't know what there is to argue about, that this is the best high school football team that has ever represented the Rockford Public High School. I am honored to induct the 1974 East High School football team into the RPS Athletic Hall of Fame. I invite the team members from that East High School football team forward to accept the award.
Did Jerry say it was?
Oh.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. First of all, I would like to thank the Rockford School Board for allowing this moment to happen. It's a joy. It's an unbelievable joy. I'm glad the band is gone because, the Oscar Awards and all the other different musical awards, when you talk too long, they start playing to get you off the stage. But I've got a few things to say about my brothers. In 1971, in the late summer, early fall of 1971, I don't think anybody at East High School realized what was about to take place, what was about to happen, except for about 2 people. One being Coach Salvi, and the other one, John Alquist. Not too far removed, in the 60s, there were problems between blacks and whites. But we came to East High School from across the river, and we joined a group of guys that didn't look at us as color, but they looked at us as brothers. I've never met anybody in my travels that have gone through high school winning every single football game they ever played. In 1971, Coach Ruby, our freshman coach, had no idea what to expect. And I guarantee you that year we had over 100
kids come out to play football. A lot of them never had uniforms to wear, never had helmets to wear, but they felt something that was about to take place. We wouldn't have made it this far if it hadn't been for the fans. And I'll tell you, if you didn't get to a game 2 hours before, you weren't going to find a seat. We would go to an away game, and the away people would get mad at us because we'd take over the whole stadium. It was amazing when the gentleman was standing here talking about all the fans that used to be at the basketball games. Our whole career, football, basketball, track, most of us played, wrestling, baseball. We had fans, we had parents that knew Friday and Saturday night we were going to support the schools, and they were out and they were watching us. We're products from the public school. We thank you so much for this honor. From the bottom of our hearts. We thank Coach Pellant. We thank Mr. Giardini. We thank Craig Stalka.
Jerry,
where you at?
Jerry.
Jerry, are you here, Jerry? Yes, Jerry's here. I saw him.
Oh,
there he is, Jerry. Giardini.
Man, I didn't know you moved that fast.
But there aren't very many high schools that say there were 4 guys off their high school team that went to the NFL. And out of that 4, there's 1 that got lucky to get the Super Bowl ring. 1 that had the longest punt return, kickoff return in the NFL on Monday Night Football.
You bet.
Ira Matthews.
Yes.
I just want to duplicate everything Jerry talked about. Without the fans and the public school district, that made us what we are. And it wasn't luck, man. I worked hard. But just like he said, we all thank y'all for this honor, and hopefully we keep this tradition going. And, I mean, you don't have to induct us every year, but we can come back and hang out and have a good time.
In closing, believe it or not, there are a lot of our classmates that are here. Class of 75, could you please stand?
Yes.
Our cheerleaders are here. Our fans are here. Thank you. Without them baking us cookies and all that kind of stuff, you know how all those things go after games or in practices, and so we had a fan base that was unbelievable, and we thank Rockford for that. We thank you. We thank you for this honor. Thank you very much.
Stage left or something?
No. Here, I know you're older and you need some help. Take the can down.
For 8 years.
Take that home with you.
I grew up in Madison, Wisconsin. I remember my dad taking me to as many Badger football games as possible, and he used to talk about Ira Matthews a lot. And he said, you know, he's from just down the street. When I told my dad in 1995 I was going from North Carolina to Rockford, he said, that's where Ira Matthews is from. You meet him yet? I've been here 18 years, Ira. I've never met you. Can I please cross this off my bucket list? Can I shake your hand? Okay, I'm going downhill from here. I just want y'all to know that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce to you Assistant Superintendent of RPS, Mr. Matt Vosberg, to induct the Hall of Fame Team Award.
Good evening. Let's, one more time, let's thank Matt Parker for putting this great night together. Man, you did a great job. The first of several, I'm sure. As a West High alum, it's quite an honor to be here tonight to introduce this next team. As we all know, West High is a very unique place. For me, I consider it more than just a school. West High was a microcosm of society that could only exist in a naturally integrated high school, and one of the only in the state of Illinois at that time. I learned many valuable lessons about people and life that cannot be taught in the textbook. I'm very grateful for that. West alums are also very proud of our rich athletic history, especially our swim teams. By the way, I get this, people ask me all the time, that picture is authentic, that's not Photoshop. The 1955-56 team continues to be a source of pride for the West High community and the Rockford community. Those teams, 29-1 consecutive state champions, still a source of pride. The 1955 team was famous for scoring 6 points in 1 second to beat Elgin for this title. To this date, it's the only Rockford area school, public or private, to win a state championship in boys basketball. So after all these years, West is still best, right? This time I'd like to introduce the team and bring them up to the stage, please. I'd like to introduce Rex Parker to introduce the rest of the team and say a few words.
Thank you, Matt. You know, for those of us up here, we're a lot older than most everybody else in the room. Not everybody, but the majority. But it's nice to be up this late in the evening. First of all, we appreciate being recognized as winners, but the winners, I think all of us would agree, thanks to Dr. Jarrett, Dr. Vosberg, Matt Parker, Emily, the Rockford Coalition, Ted Leibovich, and the city of Rockford can be thankful for what they've done and the forward thinking for the children or students in the public schools and the entire city of Rockford, irregardless of what Forbes has said. Dr. Jarrett, Matt, and thank you. We want to congratulate the other inductees this evening. It's a privilege for us, and as the gentleman before me said, it kind of chokes you up after this many years. But we are thankful for the honor. It's been a tradition for winners to be recognized, but the Rockford school system is really the winner with the leadership team that we've got at this point. We appreciate that. A number of people have asked about the 6 points in 1 second, and without taking a lot of time, in fact, a couple people asked me tonight about it, and
Rod Kaufman on my far right, who came here from California to be with us. Actually, he was down in Florida, but he lives in California. But he had the ball, and he passed the ball to Nolan Gentry, who was one of our 6'7" forwards at that time. Nolan went up. There was 2 minutes and 19 seconds left in the game. And Nolan went up with a jump shot, hit the jump shot, and as he came down, he was fouled. And at that time, you would receive a 1-and-1 after the ball had gone through the hoop. Nolan went to the free throw line. He hit his first shot, so obviously he got his second shot, and he hit that. And the clock was still out. Elgin got the ball. They threw it into the fellow that I was guarding. We both had 43 on our uniforms. The fella happened to be Sigmeyer, and I think he was 6'5" or thereabouts, so he was taller than I was. We both went up for the ball, and the whistle blew, and they called the foul on 43. I didn't wait to see which 43. I walked to our free throw line, and they called it on the other fella. And I got a 1-and-1 at that point, and I made the first one, and I made the second one, and that was 6 points, and the clock had ticked off 1 second. So that was our 6 points in 1 second. Several of the other fellows have got a comment, but before I hand the mic over to Rod along the line, there was a tradition at that time, and maybe it's still going on now, and somebody can tell me, but at that point of 1955, each school, and there were 16 teams represented at that point, as was indicated by Matt, each school selected a queen to represent their school. And the 16 schools had their queen from their school come down to the program at Champaign. We played in Huff Gym at that point, and I think the total capacity was about 6,300 or thereabouts. But that queen from West High School was a person that's in our audience tonight, and her name was Carol Cleveland Parker. And my wife and I have been married now 56 years. And one other little tidbit, we had a senior in high school that missed sports the senior year that we didn't have sports in Rockford. So Carol, with the support of a lot of people in the area, got on the school board and served for about 8 years on the school board, the first woman president of the school board. And the next year, through the help of all the community, we were able to reinstate sports into the school system. So we were pleased about that. Rod Kaufman.
Thank you. As Rex said, I'm here from California, and I had 3 pretty good things happen to me tonight. I met Jerry Latin, appropriately at the bar. I got a compliment from Harmon Mitchell. Been a long time, Harmon, since I've heard good things. You say good things about me. And my coach was inducted into the Hall of Fame, Alex Sadargas. And Alex is here tonight. That's great. I'm here tonight to talk about what happened to us after we won the Illinois State Basketball Championship in 1955, because I don't think anything has happened like that since. We knew after we won the championship the following Sunday morning that we were going to be greeted when we came back to Rockford. We had been rated the #1 team in the state all year. People expected us to win, but we didn't expect to get behind by 16 points in that game and had to make a hell of a recovery in the second half. And by the way, both Rex and I had 4 fouls on us going into the second half. We pressed the whole second half, and neither one of us fouled out. So it was almost a miracle kind of victory. Anyway, when we left Champaign the next morning, headed back to Rockford, we were wondering what's going to happen. We got some taste of it when we went through LaSalle, Peru. And LaSalle, Peru was a part of our conference, the Big 8 Conference, which in 1955 was considered the most powerful conference in the state of Illinois. There were people on the lawns with signs. Not every home, but certainly a lot of them. We thought, wow, this is something. One of our competitors, towns, are greeting us with the fact that we had won the championship. But when we got to Rochelle, Illinois, things started happening. On Route 51 at that time, cars were on both sides of the roads, all the way into Rockford. Now Rochelle is what, 20, 25 miles, I'm not sure. But it was just an amazing sight. And when we got into Rockford on the Far East side, near Morris Kennedy School, which no longer exists, on 11th Street, we got out of our cars, and they wanted to put us on fire engines. Of course, it was raining a little bit that day and a little cold, so they put us in cars, convertibles for the most part, and we started our trek across the city. 11th Street, all the way to Lincoln Junior High, left all the way across East State Street, all the way across town to Rockton Avenue, all the way out to West High. There were over 100,000 people that were waiting for us on this cold, drizzly, miserable day. Not miserable for us, but for the people who had to come out and stand in it. 3 or 4 deep on both sides of the street, all the way to Rockford West High School. One of the biggest things that happened to us is that if you lived there during 1955, if you were either an East Rockford fan or a West Rockford fan. There was no in between. There were as many East Rockford fans on the street that day as there were West Rockford fans, all greeting us, including the team I played with in my sophomore year. I went to East High. The varsity from East High all together were at one part of the, near Lincoln Junior High School, and greeted us all. It was an amazing feat. I mean, to think that as much competition as there was between East and West, on that particular day, Rockford became one city, a city that was celebrating the fact that one of their high schools won the Illinois State Basketball Championship. And I think that was a fabulous, fabulous thing. So, when I come back to Rockford, I feel like I've been a successful businessman in my life. I always feel when I get off the plane in Chicago, rent a car, drive in here, I suddenly get this glow. I just feel great being here. I know Rockford has lots of problems, but I don't see them. I love being here. I love the people of Rockford, and I thank them, and I only think that my success in life has had a lot to do with the fact that I grew up in this town. And I appreciate it very much.
Let me just introduce first before the rest go ahead. Far left, right left, Jay Heath from the 56 team, Roger Peacock from the 56 team, Dr. Dave McClellan from the 55 team, and Bobby Washington from the 55 and 56 team.
This is not my favorite thing to do, but I guess I have to say something, and I'll say this. Winning 2 consecutive state championships, the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8, I don't know how you can, if you're a ball player, I don't know how you can ask for anything better than that. We worked really hard, and this was something that we could see coming, kind of like the football team could. We could see coming when some of us were still in grammar school. We were good friends. We worked really hard. We had good coaching, and we had encouragement from Alex Sadargas, our coach, he came to a banquet at the Social Center, the Booker T. Washington Social Center, and he said to us that if we keep continuing to grow like we're going, we can win a state championship. Of course, who believed him? I mean, you know, but he turned out to be prophetic. And speaking of Coach Sadargas, I am here because of him. You can imagine basketball is for tall people, and I'm not as tall as a lot of these folks. But he said, I guess there's a place for somebody who may be 5'10". And but I want to just pay homage to Coach Sadargas, my parents who always encouraged me to go to school, and all the other coaches and all the other sports that I played in, who helped develop and encourage us to be our best. Thank you.
It was my great good fortune to go through the Rockford public school system, go through West High School, gave me great preparation for college. I was truly blessed to be associated with these men and others, to have the great coaches that we had, and to have the wonderful experiences of being a champion. Thank you.
Well, I can't possibly top what's been said, so I'm not going to try. I'm just going to pass this to Jay. And thank you very much, all of you.
Well, probably the best thing I remember is 1956, every night having a practice against these guys as a second team member. And believe me, that was no fun. But since tonight we've been talking a lot about education and the Rockford school systems, I'd just like to give you a few stats of these 2 1955 and 56 state championship teams. At that time, we had to cut our rosters down to 10 when we went to the state tournament. There were 20 guys then in those 2 teams. 4 of them played on both. So we had 16 kids. 8 of those went on to college and get advanced degrees, whether it be masters, law degrees, medical degrees, and let's see, 4 more went to college. So I think the success, and some of those, one of them standing here, who didn't go to college or didn't graduate, is probably the most successful one on our whole 2 teams, and that's Rodney. But we had some other guys too. I don't know if you heard about Luther Bedford. Luther became probably the most famous high school basketball coach in the city of Chicago. He coached at Marshall for 35 or 40 years, and unfortunately he died the year after we had our 50th anniversary dinner. Ray Morgan was another reserve on that 55 team. He worked 40 years at IBM and got his master's degree as well. So I think the education we got, learning how to work together, really paid off. Thank you.
For those that are here tonight that came along with these honorees this evening, will you give me some noise for them, please? Thank you all so much. Everyone's a champion. Thanks for being here tonight.